Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
It's the penis surrounded by the two balls.
That's brilliant. That's great.
New Year's Eve. Are you gigging?
No, I'm not. And I'm pissed off. Right, have you asked me this because you are or something?
Oh, just, it's coming around the corner. And I think
Coming around the
overall...
mountain.
Yes.
When she comes.
And boy, does she come.
Oh,
round
yeah,
the mountain.
Round that mountain. Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
No, because she's a professional cyclist. Okay? Tour de France, yeah? Right, anyway. Well, I'd say overall, my winter gig level is up. Right? And...
From 1 to 2.
Well, joking aside... No, it's more than that. In the last few years, and this I think is definitely a post-COVID thing, that's a long time ago now, isn't it? That's weird.
Yeah.
Not far off, been 5 years since that little bugger decided to play around. And for the last few years, my winter season has been dead. I'll do a gig in November, and then I ain't doing a gig till April, even May sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm only talking about, at the moment, I only play live with Tailored, with our agency. So that's sort of weddings and functions. But it used to be absolutely...
Can I just say, for the listeners, all I asked Ben was, do you have a gig on New Year's? And then we've got this. But carry on.
We know. But I think this is a general-ish, wider, thing in the music community, George. Christmas parties, they died off, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
People that were still watching their purses and their wallets, and that's understandable. We all are. But this winter, I got 4 in November. I got 5 in December. This is getting back to pre-COVID levels. Yeah. So, and one of those is indeed a New Year's Eve gig.
Well done.
This has got to be the first one in about 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
amazing.
I just see it.
Well
I wonder if I'm sure other people have noticed it. I've even noticed that the studio rehearsals are up as we enter this festive period. I think there's just more shit going on, more gigs, more live music, and that is a good thing. Have you got any plans
for New Year's?
Gigging? Yeah, I mean it is shit.
I don't know. Really? I always struggle with New Year's. I think unless I have a solid plan, minimum 2 days before, I won't do anything, because I don't know if it was what did I do last year? I can't remember, but there was a year where I wasn't going to go out and then just went out at
for
4
days.
Yeah. No, but I went out. Dean messaged me. He was like, hey, I'm at a party, come to Hove. And I got to the party for 11:45, which is stupid. You know what I mean?
I've met Dean once.
Yeah.
And I imagine he's always at a party.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He seems like that sort of guy. Oh, all right, Dean, what you up to? Just at a party.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Dean, I love him. He's one of those people who, a bit like Bert Kreischer, do you know what I mean? There's always an excuse for a drink. Do you know what I mean? So, should we get a drink? Like, it's 10 a.m. and we're driving. No, absolutely not. No, he's not that bad. But he makes things fun. Do you know what I mean? He makes things into a party, and he's maybe the best banter in terms of just dirty shit. Do you know what's good about Dean? This isn't going to be an episode about Dean because we've already had one, but he'll say things that are just so schoolboy humor, but it's somehow funny. Like
it's the hair.
Playing football. Yeah,
I think the hair gives him a lot of liberty to be that sort of guy. Like you know. He's at a party and he can do this. Yeah. And that's me just running my hand over my bald
your
head.
Bald head.
But he can just sort of have that casual brush out of the eyes, back behind the ears, you know, and in the other hand, a drink.
Yeah.
And a shirt probably with a big collar. And that's
that's the Barbara look. No, we were playing football and I was in goal and this is going to be my story, but this not what I'm going to tell you, but this is what I need to tell you about. So, and someone goes, "Oh, I got 3 at the back," and Dean goes, "Yeah, that's what you like, innit?" And it's like anyone else says that, it's not funny, but everyone fucking erupted. You know what I mean?
And I imagine Dean turns up to football, but he doesn't have any like proper football gear. So he's got like an old pair of Umbro running shorts, yeah, normal socks,
Yeah.
a pair of old Adidas Copper Mundials, and then he's got like a retro Leeds top or something.
So the shirt, I need to get one. He's somehow got his own branded 80s hi-fi logo shirt, football shirt, which I think is pretty cool. Can I tell you the story of what happened on Saturday? Because this is...
First of all, some of you may have been expecting a chat with Ben Aldred today from Evans.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, we just had to postpone, but we will get that done. So you're going to have to just put up with half an hour to 42 minutes, potentially, of chat from us again. George, proceed. Entertain the listeners, entertain the world.
So I had a gig. Let's start with the gig on Friday night. I had a gig on Friday night. It was in Beaconsfield with Tim Love.
Loverboy, Mr. Loverboy himself.
This is it. And I went up. I mean, it was a late arrival. It was 9 p.m. arrival, you know. So I turn up, get the kit set up.
That is late, isn't it?
That is late, yeah. Because we started at 10.
Hard to leave the house then, isn't it?
I was honestly, I was having dinner and going like, I'm going to leave at 7, but it's the end of, I mean, it's nearly the end of the day, you know. But so anyway, I set up. We did the gig. Tim was, I don't want to slag Tim off. This is me slag Tim off. This was the least I've ever seen him want to do a gig. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? I was like, should we mic the kick? Nah, easy loadout, boy. So yeah. So we did the gig. The crowd was all right. You know what I mean? Like,
what are we talking?
At one point,
public house.
Yeah, pub. When we were on our break, some big guy sort of walks over the fucking barrier we've got and tries to get on the kit, so we had to get the security to get involved, you know, because he was massive. But then, second set was just fun. There was this guy who kept, you know, being like, you know, when people like air drum in front of you as if to be like, do this, do a fill, and then you do a fill, and they're like, oh, it's brilliant, you know what I mean? And it's just, I wouldn't say degrading, but it's, you know, you're sort of like...
Performing monkey,
Yeah, performing monkey. So, anyway, we finished the gig. I got home about 2 a.m. and woke up at some point to go and play football at 11 a.m. at Patcham High School. And it's really good now. Like, there's more and more of us each week. We used to do like 5 a side with 10 of us in this group chat, and now it's about 7 a side.
5 a side equals 10, yeah.
Yep, exactly. And 7 a side, 14. So we, what did we do? We started playing, and it was cold for a start. And
bit chilly.
And it was a bit windy as well. There was Storm Bert or whatever, you know. So we're playing. I can't remember how long into the game, but I was running towards the goal, and it literally felt like someone had like studded me in the calf, or like I'd been shot with a fucking, I don't know, I wouldn't say a bullet because that's dramatic, but like it felt like something just exploded. BB gun, yeah, it's probably a good one to say.
Yeah.
BB
paintball,
gun.
yeah.
Paintball, yeah, like just point blank range, just bang, like that. And then I suddenly was like, oh my God. And I was limping off. And this guy, Luke, was like, all right, guys, stop. Like, George is injured. And they're all like, what's going on, you know? And I was like, I don't know. Like, my calf feels like it's just exploded, right? So they were like, well, do you want to just go and goal and then see how you do? And then if it's too much, just go home, you know? And I was like, yeah, because I didn't want to go. I was like, it hurts if I walk. But if I'm in goal, I'll just stand there and I'll be all right, you know? So anyway, we finished the match and I got in my car and it was a bit like, am I going to be all right to drive? And I could, but it hurt a lot. Do you know what I mean? My calf was fucked.
Which leg?
And right.
Accelerator and brake.
And kick pedal. So I had a gig in Bournemouth that evening and the plan was to go from Brighton to Portsmouth, pop in to see my parents, have a shower after football, whatever, have a cup of tea, and then carry on to Bournemouth, right?
Yeah. It's the midway.
So I've been, yeah, he is. And seeing as every gig I've had this year has been in Bournemouth,
I've just thought, Portsmouth, right, it's sort of between Bournemouth and Brighton.
Equidistance, as they say.
Yeah. P surrounded by two Bs. It's the penis surrounded by the two balls.
That's brilliant. That's great.
Okay.
I don't know why no one's ever thought of that before.
Yeah, you've come here for the chat about tuning and skins with Ben Aldred.
Yeah.
But I've given you that, okay? So
Exactly. Well, thanks. Thanks for that.
you're welcome.
So anyway, I've been talking to Jack Hicklin that day, my good friend Jack Hicklin, because I had this loose plan to stay at his that night.
Good friend Jack Hicklin.
Yeah. Definitely. I'd had a loose plan to stay at his because he'd offered. He was like, "Hey man, like if you got a gig in Bournemouth, like we keep trying to meet up. Why don't you just stay at mine afterwards?" And he was like, "I have a gig in Chichester, but my girlfriend will just let you in." And I was like,
So he was
"You
going
sure?"
the other way. So why?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Why don't we just swap gigs, right? Because my gig I had was 20 minutes from his house, and his gig, I mean, is 10 minutes from my mum's. You know, it would have been perfect. So I was messaging him, and I was starting to think like I might have to dep out this gig because not only like I fucked my leg, I was like trying to see like can I play, and I was like I can't do heel up will just kill me. And I went to have a nap and I just couldn't walk, you know, like I was really hobbling. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. So I was talking to Jack and he was like, "Oh, my gig in Chichester has been cancelled now." And I was like, well, I've got some good news for you, Jack. You might have a gig now. Do you want to do a gig in Bournemouth? And at first he was a bit reluctant, you know what I mean? He will be listening to this because even after all this happened, he was like, "Am I going to get mentioned on the pod?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." But he did say he sort of settled into for listeners, if you have a gig, even if you're buzzing about the gig, as soon as it's cancelled, you go, "Oh, brilliant, night in." Do you know what I mean? Even if you're really excited.
And then the thought of leaving the house is so alien.
Yeah.
Even though 20 minutes before you were ready.
Yeah, with your
and
kid
then
in the
you're
car
like,
or whatever.
"Can I be bothered? I've got a lovely night off." But
Exactly.
You were going out 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But we've all had that feeling, yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
So I said, "Hey man, can you do this gig for me?" And he was like, doing that thing where they ask questions. All right, who is it? What's the
fee? Where is it?
Yeah. I said, "It's 20 minutes from your house, and you'll be doing me the biggest favour ever." And he was like,
"Who was this? Who was the gig with?"
Mark Smith and Ben Y. It's a really chill, lovely gig. Those two are great. And it's the most relaxed function gig. And that's what I told him, you know. And it turned out, I think he played with Mark in a gig earlier in the year. And I messaged those two and was just like, "Look, I can't do the gig. I'm going to get Jack on it." And they were like, "Yeah, cool." And then I managed to sort out the set. Like there was like 5 songs that he hadn't played before. So we put 5 that he does know. And then that was that. And Jack did the gig. But it was the first time I've ever had to dep a gig on the day. You know what I mean? And I'd always said, like, I'll never do it. I'll always make the gig work. But it was like, I just couldn't walk. Do you know what I mean? And as the evening went on, it got worse and worse. Like I was holding on to everything to walk around the house. I'm like, yeah, that wouldn't have happened. But I do wonder, like, if Jack couldn't do it and I couldn't find anyone, like, I mean, I'm sure I would have got through it, but it would have been a fucking, I don't know, a hard gig. But
So what's up with your leg then?
I don't know, man. I think I've just pulled something. Do you know what it feels like? You know when you get cramp? It feels like cramp, but it just hasn't subsided. Like, it's really weird because I thought that's what happened. I thought, "Oh, I've got cramp. I'll stretch it." And then cramp usually goes within, like, not long. But it's like cramp that just won't go. I mean, it's better now. I can walk a bit better and it will just go. But yeah, it was really weird. It wasn't even like I did any... Do you know what it reminded me of? Do you remember Michael Owen when he...
Big time.
He was just kind of standing there and then his leg just gave way and then he kind of got, I don't know if you remember that, but that was sort of like the injury that ruined his career and he never really fully recovered from it. But if you watch it, he's literally just standing there and then he moves to, I don't know, he just moves and then his leg just sort of breaks. It felt like that. It felt like I didn't do it. It wasn't like I did anything mad. I was just sort of running along. Oh, leg's fucked, But I think it's from not stretching. But yeah, anyway, I had to give Jack the gig, which was sad.
How did you feel?
I felt relieved. That's how I felt. I felt as soon as I said, "Can you do it?" and he said, "Yeah," I was like, "Oh, thank God for that." Do you know what I mean? Because I was like, I don't know. I think if I would have got by with a little help from my friends, you know what I mean? Could have said
you should write a song about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I did think,
Going.
you're not a double kick, double pedal kind of guy.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
just do left.
I just wondered,
Yeah.
could you set up the double pedal but just do the left? Be tricky.
Yeah. Very tricky.
But you probably did the right thing, George. You know, your health is important, and you'd probably only make it worse. Remember when was it Camille who broke her foot?
Oh yeah.
On the subways and played with a broken foot.
Mm.
You know, but and it's tricky, isn't it? Because we don't get sick pay. So
no, is that that's it?
You give up the paycheck.
Exactly.
It is tricky.
It is tricky.
I've done a gig where lots of people have been sort of ill, and obviously you got the double whammy of not earning your money, but then also it can be tricky to find a dep at such short notice. But I've thrown up at gigs before. I remember Neil running off stage to be sick. Swanee, Pompey Swanee, driving to London in a van, just vomiting out the window through central London. And that's professionalism, and and that is what I like. But
exactly.
Well, that's good, isn't it? But it brings up the gig swap thing. I think we've talked about this before, maybe, or just among us. Like the other week, I went up to Norfolk and did a gig, and like you kind of think there's probably a band up that way who's coming to do a gig down south. Well, let's just swap, innit?
Yeah.
Let's just swap. But I do wonder,
honestly,
when people book bands, do they obviously like the fee is more because of the covering the larger travel costs and potentially accommodation costs. Do people like I've never booked a band for that sort of thing, but do people factor that in? Do they care, or do they just get the quote and go, yeah, great? Like what is there an overriding? Well, we just want that band, so it doesn't matter where they. Because I've done so many gigs, you'll have the same. You turn up and someone's like, oh, even in Norfolk they were like, oh, have you travelled far? I was like, oh, Portsmouth, and they're like, bloody hell.
Yeah.
But
do you know what I want to do? I want to see how many gigs I've had in the Bournemouth area this year, because it's been ridiculous. It's every Saturday.
Right.
And
do you know what I did?
Why don't I just move there? What?
I was doing some personal life admin. I like to keep on top of things.
You love that.
And
you do it every day.
And I was sorting out my this is how bored I was, sorting out my list of favourites in Google Maps and my saved places. I got a folder of all the places I went to in Florida, New York, Vegas. I got little parking hotspots for meeting people on the way to gigs. But what I found was it was very easy to do, but I was able to map out every gig I'm doing 2024, and I'll show you.
Oh wow, that's very cool.
So we'll get that up on the gram. I was quite interested to see where I've been this year. Again,
how did you do that?
Really
what app is that on, or what?
So it's Google Maps. Just go on Google Maps, and then I just add all the postcodes from my gig spreadsheet, and I just copy it in, and then just into Google Maps, and then hit save, and then save it to a list called Gigs 2024.
Okay,
and then on the phone, you can then select what lists you want to show on the map. And so I deselected everything apart from that, and it just comes up with all the places on that list.
Yeah.
But how's your leg feeling today then?
It's better. It's getting better, man. But it's just, I don't know. It's just weird. I can walk less hobbly. But you know what it will be? It'll be like when you got a runny nose, and then one day you don't have a runny nose, and you're like, oh yeah, that's all right, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I think it'll be like that. I'll wake up and just walk and won't think about it, and I'll go, oh, I couldn't walk yesterday, and now I can,
I think it'd be really cool if, I don't know if we'll ever get there in our lifetime, but like Carl Pilkington, a watch that counts down your life, but not that, but like we basically become like Tamagotchis, and so it reads your blood like as you're living, and then it goes like, oh, bit dehydrated, drink some water, tells you exactly what you need to do based on what you've eaten and drunk and stuff, and then it goes, no more pizza. And you're like, okay, and it keeps you at these levels. And then what if it had like an injury, like so your leg was down at 30% health, because, and you can see it, the percentage go up, And you can sort of see on your watch, like, well, my leg's up to 55% better now. And
so let's go play football.
And then it's green. And then once you get to, 100%, you're back in.
Yeah.
If you could see when the pain was going to end, if you could see when the cold was going to end, when your headache was going to end, my back's just permanently stuck on 18% red.
Here's a question. Would other people be able to see it?
I'm sure there'd be links in the app to post to Twitter.
But I mean, because say if you try and get a day off work or something, and you're like, oh, I've
well, this would bring up so many moral questions.
Yeah, and they're like, do you? You have to show.
Yeah,
the
you'd
thing.
have to send your stats in.
Yeah,
and then you'd have a whole black market of rigging your stats. Like, I need to get off, so they'll just like get an old leg and like stick it to you and attach the sensors in it, so you can be like, oh, my leg hurts.
Isn't it mental how quickly you can just get to black market vibes with whatever is ever invented? It would be like,
there's so many people in the world trying to do good things, and trying to make technology better and then there's on the other side, there's enough people trying to fuck it up.
I'm going to talk about something else. I don't know if I should talk about this, but
well, then I think that means you should.
Well, I don't see why I shouldn't, right? But I had a trial shift at GAC the other day, the drum shop.
Yes.
Should I talk about this or not?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So I'm looking for a new job. Let's put it that way. And popped up GAC drum department. GAC, for those that don't live in Brighton or don't know, GAC is sort of the music store of Brighton. It's been there for years.
What does GAC mean?
Guitars, amps, keyboards. But it also does drums. And it used to be 2 stores, but they've made it into 1. And the drum part is, let's say, smaller than it used to be, but a drum part nonetheless. And I had an interview, and then I did a trial shift on Friday. And it was interesting being in a drum store, because it was like, I don't know, you had different sort of customers that came in. You'd have like the mums that were trying to buy stuff for their kid and didn't know anything, obviously. Like, I'm looking for some sticks. And it's like, what do you want? It's like, 5s. And it's like, right, okay, 5 what? A, B, But then you'd have the sort of more like, I don't know, sort of more muso people. Some guy came in, he was from LA, he was on a tour or whatever. And but what I found interesting was how they do like the profit and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, because I went in the other day, and I think sticks are like 12.66. And I remember the guy who I work with, he served me the other week, and he was like, "I'll do them for 12 quid." And I was like, "How are you able to knock off stuff?" Because there was this, he sold some guy some brushes and knocked off like 10 quid. And I was like, can you just do that? He's like, no, we've got these like certain parameters. We have to make this much profit, and then so you can knock that off, and it makes people feel better and stuff. And I was like, oh, fair. But the maddest thing that happened in my 4-hour trial shift, I don't know if I got the job, by the way, but I got there at 9 or whatever, and I was shown around. There's a lot of people that work there, like a surprising amount. There's like 20 people in the shop at one time, and it's not massive. So I was like, wow. But I was stood there, and there's I can't remember what the term for it is. I don't want to say crackhead house, but there's a crackhead house. Crack den. Like crack den. Yeah, it's sort of like it's not a YMCA, but it's that sort of vibe. It's like an
unofficial drug residence.
Yeah, let's go with that. So
where's that, in the drum department, or
no,
that's the bass department?
Yeah, no, it's down the street. But you do.
20 of you working, 5 are on heroin.
Yeah,
just in this corner with a Music Man bass and a Fender Jazz.
This is it. So 2 of these people came in, and they came in before the shop had opened. I mean, admittedly, they didn't have the door locked, but they just wandered in 9:25. Shop opens at 9:30. And just started, first of all, they started slagging off the dog that was sat on the counter. Someone has this little dog. And then, they just started getting really abusive out of nowhere. And they had to be like, right, you need to leave. We're actually not even open. They're like, fuck you, I'll get my guitar somewhere else then, And I was like, oh my God. And then the manager almost looked at me to be like, sorry about this, But then was also like, it does happen a lot,
So
And
was he trying to buy a guitar then?
I don't. It's hard
Crackhead.
to say. It's hard to say, but it was. It's definitely a weird experience,
I'm just thinking of
So-
that. Did you watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
A little bit.
It's an episode where Frank's banging a hooker, and they go in a really posh clothes shop, and they're like, "Can you leave, please?" And then she just pulls out like a massive wad of cash,
Amazing.
and the employee gets in trouble, assuming she didn't have the money to pay for the very nice leather
Yeah.
jacket, which she then poured vodka on. But yeah, okay, well, interesting. Okay,
Yeah, interesting. Lots. To
how
think
did
about there.
how did time pass? Fast, slow,
Slowly.
slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
The world of retail.
I don't want to talk too negatively about it.
Was it
but I
busy?
mean,
Like,
no, and even the people I was with weren't exactly kind of bigging the job up. You know what I mean? Like they'd be like, "Oh, I've been here too long. This drains me, this job." And I was like, "Don't know if I want to work here." You know what I mean? So
what
yeah.
sort of how big in terms of drum department then? How many sort of kits on display?
Not
like
many,
what's their
not
stock
many.
really?
not many, and I don't want to talk about it in a way that's negative. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's not as much stock as one might want to have. I mean, to put it into perspective, that's not even the right phrase, but you know what I mean. Someone walked in and said, "Hey, I've seen you got a lot of cymbals online, but there doesn't seem to be many here. Like, am I right to try what's here?" And he was right. Do you know what I mean? There was like 2 or 3 ride cymbals, and that was it, and it was sort of like, and I'm really trying not to slag off the shop, but I was thinking so much about the Graham Russell thing, where he said, if you have a lot of stock, people don't have to go anywhere else. You know what I mean? If you come in and go, "Hey, I want to try this," and they go,
Yeah.
"Oh, we haven't got it,"
Well, then what you got to do, George, get the job, get in there, and transform it.
Well, do you know what? I did, but I think
need-
it's,
We need more than 2 sticks.
yeah.
You know.
Well, do you know what? To be fair, that happened the other day. I went in like last month to buy some 7A sticks, and they're like, "Oh, we've sold out." And I was like, "Oh,
7-8 pussy.
yeah, I know." thin little chopstick sticks. So yeah, but we'll see about that. But
Okay.
if not, loads of irons in the fire. Lots of more of these.
Yeah.
Got
more
my
of
walks
these,
and
yeah.
main cap.
I
Yeah.
just said, come out and wave. Just imagine you stood there, George. You gonna sell something or tidy up? No, just said, come out and wave.
Do you know what? I got too overconfident talking to people, like customers, and then very quickly realised they didn't know anything I was talking about. So like, you go through the drums department and you got the keyboard section. There was this mum and her son, and I was like, "Hi, can I help at all?" She's like, "Oh yeah, we're just looking at this, And then she went, "How much is this one?" And I went, "Ah?" It's like, "This one right here." "Oh, I don't know. Serge, could you, how much is that?" I'd start really well and then instantly be like, "I've been here an hour. I don't know any of this stuff, So, yeah, we'll see. But that's GAC. Anything else you want to chat about?
Couple of things, mate. Couple of things. 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Cool. I was just checking it hadn't transferred to my phone. My old AirPods. I had a gig on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Freshman year. It was fine. There you go. Right, I want to talk about shoes. Bear with me 1 second. As we all know, I now live in a house with a garden.
Mm-hmm.
And we spoke about popping out to get a choc ice from the big freezer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was having to put my Vans on. My Van slip-ons. And, well, I thought I need something by the back door to just pop on to go and get the choc ice or the big milk.
Yeah.
And I'm a man who hates Crocs. When they first entered the existence of life, I hated them. Hate Crocs. Right? I detested anyone who had Crocs. But, living in a flat for 9 years, didn't really have a need for that sort of quick outdoor shoe. So I was like, right, I need to get something. So maybe I'll get some, just slip on, just get some sliders, right? you know, some Nike sliders or whatever, or Adidas. I play both sides, so I come out on top. Then I went to see my mum the other day down in old Gunwharf, down the old Gunny, and we went for lunch. I was like, there's a couple of shops I'd like to go in, Nike, Adidas. There was a little Pompey store, get myself a Pompey shirt, sure. Lo and behold, mate, there's a Crocs shop. A shop dedicated to Crocs.
Right, about time.
And yeah. I thought, do you know what? I'll just go in, you know. And I ended up getting a pair of Crocs sliders.
Nice.
So they're not like the grotesque big old clumpy fuckers that people wear. They look like slider flip-flops. Black, white trim. Half price. Thank you very much. And my mum said, I turned around, I was just checking the size, and they've got these like holes in them that you can put like, you know, little clip, sort of you push these little things through, like it'll be a little picture of Star Wars or a dog or a cat, you know, little emblems and kind of like rubber jewels that you can personalise your Crocs with. And I turned around and Mum's at the personalisation station. That's what I'm calling it. If they're not calling it, they should.
Yeah, they should.
And she's got a B and a W, and she's like, "You should put these on.
Yeah.
Get these." And I was thinking, and she went, "I'll buy you Crocs if you get these."
I love it.
Deal. We're
Yeah.
in. So I got a BW personalised Crocs.
Amazing.
You know, and I got to say, very handy.
Yeah, I bet they
I
are.
made multiple trips for Choc Ice, Big Milk,
Choc
and
Ice,
the
Big
bins.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. They
But
are
then this
good.
made me laugh, right? This made me laugh. So I went up to Cambridge with my partner she was getting a lovely new car. I wasn't. I kind of thought maybe she'll surprise me with a Mustang. Nah, she just got one for herself. I did sit in a Mustang though, in a
That's
brand
good.
new Mustang.
It's pretty cool.
Mental. But anyway, her father, David, he I was telling him the story about the Crocs, you know, to my partner's mum and dad, and he went, "Why did you get a B and a W?" I said, "Oh, David, that's my initials." And he went, "Oh, sorry, I don't know what your last name is." I'm engaged to your daughter.
Yeah.
Come on,
Well,
concentrate.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
why would he? But
No.
that's my Crocs story.
Got the first name.
Other than
Yeah.
that, I've been power washing the
Oh,
driveway.
you're still power washing.
Power washing. It's all done now. It's all done. Done the drive. But you know when people say, "Oh, computer games are a waste of time, rot your brain, and no real world applications." Bullshit. One real world application, is people who fly drones. You know, pilots good at video games, flying drones now, bombing people. Good application of video games. Second, I had a power washing simulator game, right, on the PlayStation, and you power wash, taught me the skills I needed. I'll power wash that drive in real life. I was like, I'm living the dream here.
Yeah.
I've done my practice, I've done my training on the computer, bringing it to real life. So that's good. But just to finish off, mate, I'm just rattling through these things. It's a weird Monday. Got a cat in it.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
Got a little kitten.
Yeah. I got a photo
A little
from
kitten
you.
called Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you name the cat, or was it already named?
We named the cat. Yeah, we renamed him. Yeah.
What was his name before?
Jamie.
Yeah.
Fine, but Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and I'm not being biased when I say this, but he is the best cat in the world. He's amazing. He's got this little kitten.
I love it.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So,
That is great.
obviously, I've got so many photos.
Well, where is Billy now?
He's upstairs.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to get him?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't make sense because this is... Nah, we'll leave it because this is...
We'll leave it.
It would only be me going, "Oh, so cute," and then everyone would be listening going, "What the fuck? Show me the cat."
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I
That's true. Yeah.
Show me
Yeah, it's
after.
awesome. So I got him on Saturday while I was out gigging. My partner went to go and get him, and so I was coming home from the gig to a house with a new kitten, and it was amazing. I came home and I went upstairs and they were both asleep on the bed.
Oh,
It was beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah. So He's lots of fun.
Yeah. Well,
Hopefully we'll be.
There?
We'll wrap up. Hopefully we're going to get Ben rescheduled in. So if you do have any questions, email us drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Your questions about skins and tuning and stuff. But get in touch. Are you gigging this New Year's? Do you have
all
a
right.
cat?
Stop rubbing it in, for fuck's sake.
Please, everyone who's got a gig New Year's, email George directly. Let us know, and I will send you his personal phone number, and you can.
Oh, my
text
number's
him,
changed.
voicemails.
Oh, I tell you this, my number's
What?
changed for a day, right? Because I've now joined the Gift Gaff gang, as
the Gift
everyone
Gaff
has.
gang,
Yeah, and it says, "Do you want to keep your number?" I was like, "Yes, obviously." But they were like, "But you need to have a temporary number for a day," and so I went out last night.
It's all
with
about
Elliot.
pack codes, isn't it? To get your pack
Exactly.
code.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I went out with Elliot last night, had some Guinness and a whiskey, and
Very Irish night.
very. Yeah. And I took the wrong house keys to get back. I took my Brighton house keys. I was staying at my mum's and dad's, and I went, oh fuck, I got the wrong house keys. But obviously, I wasn't back late. It was like 11 because everyone shuts by 10:30 in Emsworth. But then I had to call my mum, and she just didn't answer for ages. I was like, what's going on? And I could see her through the glass door. Well, not, sort of glass.
I can see
glass.
you.
She I saw her walk downstairs, walk past the door, check the phone, press red, hang up, whatever, and then walk back upstairs. I'm like, I'm right here. You know what I mean? And she was like, oh, it didn't come up
Her
as your name.
mobile, her mobile was downstairs.
Yeah, well,
Crazy how the older generation live.
I know, this is it. It's less connected, but
I can't
probably
imagine
happier. You know what I mean?
going to bed, leaving my phone downstairs.
It's the way that, mentally, it's probably better for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Better for your health, better for your eyes, better for your brain, better for your sleep, everything. But I got to see what's going on at Instagram at 11:30 at night.
I now only
I
have
want
Instagram.
blue light in my fucking eyes all the time.
I now only have Instagram on a Thursday. That's the only time I use it because I got too addicted to it. So I have it on a Thursday because that's when I have to do the podcast post.
So have you set like some sort of limit on it then?
No, well, that was the thing. You can.
Or do you just not go on it?
No, I delete the app. As soon as Thursday's done, I delete the app until I re-download it.
Really?
Yeah, because it got too much. I just scroll all the time. And I put a 1 hour limit on, but every single day I'd reach the hour by some point. Sometimes
8 a.m.
Sometimes worryingly early. Yeah, especially if it was like I'd gone to bed late the night before and you can't sleep or whatever, and then you reach the limit and you're like, it's not even the day yet, But it would always say like, you've reached your limit, and I'd go ignore, and then you just carry on.
Pointless putting the limit on then. Pointless.
Yeah, it's so pointless. And also, I'd kind of congratulate myself because if the limit didn't come up till like 9 p.m, I'm like, that's pretty good going. You know what I mean? Like, it's taken me this long to have an hour, but I'm like, no, that's not good. There's a whole hour, So now I just delete it for a week, and then re-download it on Thursday, do the pod post, reply to anyone, and then that's that.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Because otherwise, I'm just on it too much,
I've basically I've stopped using Twitter.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, have you heard this new one everyone's talking about called Blue Sky?
No, but I'm
That's
sure
the
I will.
new one I've seen people waffling
What are
on
you
about.
doing with your elbow?
It's just scratching. It's got a little itch.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I don't feel like we're going to get any more good content out of this episode, so
Absolutely
up?
not. Yeah. Yeah. George, pleasure as always.
Pleasure, my
Hope
man.
you get the job.
Oh yeah. And if I
Gak
don't-
is amazing. Yay. Cool. Get in touch. Hope you have a good week, everyone, and we'll be back next week. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.